Have you ever noticed how even after hours spent memorizing scale patterns, your solos still sound unsure or mechanical? You're definitely not alone. I felt that same frustration myself. After over 50 years of guitar playing and teaching thousands of students, I've discovered one amazing solo hack I wish somebody had shown me decades earlier. The best part, you probably know all of this information. It's just a simple shift in your thinking that changes everything. So stick around, because today this one hack will instantly boost your confidence, even if scales have never fully clicked for you. When I started learning to solo, my first breakthrough came with my first scale pattern. You know the one, that minor pentatonic box. And it was the A minor pentatonic box because, let's face it, so many Zeppelin songs were in A. But after a while, it felt limiting. I always sounded the same. And being a hard worker, I heard it was important to learn the scales all over the neck. So I learned the minor pentatonic all over the fretboard, the so-called 5 boxes. Now, this is a worthwhile thing to do, but it was time-consuming. I was experiencing diminishing returns. The memorization was getting harder, especially doing it in all keys. But the kicker was my sound wasn't really changing all that much. After all, it's really just the same scale, just in different places on the neck. So I learned the major scale and the modes of the major scale. This kept me busy for quite a while, and it did give me some different sounds and an understanding of the modes and the whole minor-major connection. But it also made my play sound kind of scaly. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you can see how all this is getting crazy and frustrating, and I bet you've had similar experiences. Adding to the frustration was that I have a really good work ethic for this stuff. I really tried, but I just wasn't sounding any better. But here's what finally happened and how I got past it for good. I noticed that I could easily play rhythm all over the neck, and so could many players, even late beginners. One of the main reasons for this comes down to 2 simple chord shapes, the E shape and the A shape. I'm sure you already know those. The E-shaped bar and the A-shaped bar. Just to be 100% clear here, I'm playing a G chord using that E shape. You see I'm just taking that E shape and sliding it up. And I could do the same thing with the A shape. Maybe by playing a C chord or a D chord using that same shape. You see I'm just sliding it up. So I reasoned, what if instead of trying to memorize scale shapes all over the neck, I just learned how to play over chord shapes because they were easy to find? Would that work? Of course, the answer is yes, but it turns out there are a couple of big roadblocks in the way, so I want to help you get past them. Now, breaking the second roadblock is the key, but we've got to cover the first one first, so bear with me. The first roadblock is literally a problem with thinking. You see, I was conditioned to find a key, use a scale that fits that key, and solo without regard to the changing harmony. For example, I might be playing in an A blues and pick the A minor pentatonic. It's great because it gets you in the game and you can turn off your brain when you're performing. But that's obviously not going to work if you're going to play out of chords. You have to recognize the changes. And the solution to this roadblock is quite simple. Force yourself to listen and recognize the chord changes. This is easy to do, and you can do it without your guitar in hand. If you have a program like Band in the Box here, you can literally watch the chord changes and sync up your eyes and ears. But even without a program like that, it's simple. Just put on a track and listen for the chord changes. Just make sure you start out with something harmonically simple like Johnny Be Good, not I Am the Walrus. Okay, so now I can hear the chord changes. What now? Well, the second roadblock is a tougher nut to crack, and it's this. If I'm not going to play a scale, what do I play? Hold the phone, because here's what we're not going to do. We're not just going to play the notes of a chord. And And we're not just going to simply play arpeggios either. Now, we want to sound like rock, so here's what we can do. Let's start with our E bar shape in A, and for rock and blues, we're going to use an A7 to give it a bit of a spicy sound. And step one is to play the A minor pentatonic over that sound. Now the key is to focus on the sound, not be focused on the pattern. Listen to how it sounds over that chord. Focus on that sound. Notice how we played a scale, but the focus was the chord, not the scale shape. All right, now here's step two. Step two is to take that same chord, that A7, but now we're going to play the A major pentatonic against that chord. Again, the focus should be on the sound against the chord, not on the scale pattern. Notice how both of these scales worked over that chord, but they gave it a different flavor. Now, before you object to the fact that we're using scales here anyway, Mark, how is this going to help me? Here's the point, and it's a little thought experiment that's going to give you a lot of confidence in your play. If we take the A chord and map the A minor pentatonic over it, now the A major pentatonic over it, we get this. Oh no, now I've got to memorize this super complex scale pattern all over the neck? That's even worse. But wait, I'm going to take away all that frustration and worry away. Just one more step, I promise. Let's look at our combined scale. Remember, we're playing over an A7. Let's do something crazy and add in another note, the blue note, the flatted fifth. Then we get this monstrosity. Now, I have absolutely no chance of memorizing this in all keys, let alone the 5 positions. Zero chance. But isn't this pretty much like this? That's right, every single note. But wait, you can't be telling me I can play any note and every note. Yes, I am. But remember, we're playing over an A7 chord. So here's step 3, and it's a crucial step. I can play any note I want, any one. But when I stop to take a breath, I'm going to stop on a note of that A7 chord. I'll show you what I mean. So, no crazy memorization and tons of confidence because you can easily find that chord on the fretboard. And obviously, because of where we ended up with all the notes, you can do this for any chord shape, right? But if you want to apply this idea to a whole chord progression, have a look at this video because I map it to an entire chord progression in the style of Leonard Skinner, so you know it's rock and roll. So I'll see you in this next video, and I'll see you on down the road.